My name is Jason Sheffield, and I am here to share my testimony with you about how Jesus Christ completely changed my life. My earliest memories are of my biological father beating my mom into comas. He stabbed her several times, so I was shown violence as a young child. When I was 8 years old, my biological father, was shot to death in front of my eyes in the living room by a rival gang member. My mom and I moved away, and I stayed with my grandparents a lot. And then my mom showed back up, and she had remarried a guy who was my stepfather. I suffered different kinds of abuses from him. I drifted away from the home and went to the streets. That's where I really started getting into trouble. I joined violent street gangs. They showed me the acceptance that I wasn't going to get at home, but again, it was the wrong kind. I got tired of that life, so I decided to move from Texas, and I went to a one-year men's treatment facility in Purdy, Missouri. They took me in, and that's where I met my wife, Amy. We met at Celebrate Recovery in Cassville, Missouri. And I remember not being able to take my eyes off her. I graduated the program, and Amy and I were married, and she got pregnant. And we had a beautiful baby boy, and we named him Asher. We had a great life. June 16th of 2014, my wife and son were killed in a car accident. She was taking him to the hospital. It was his first real fever. She took him to the hospital, and they were hit head on by an MFA propane tanker. They were both killed instantly. I was sober, clean and sober up until that point, but I never had a relationship with Jesus Christ. I never had a relationship with God. I was attending 12-step programs, but my life was based on a foundation of sand. So when the wind came, it blew my house over. And I relapsed 2 days later and stayed relapsed. And 2014 of the same year, my mother committed suicide. So here I am in my addiction, not dealing with the grief of losing my wife and son, and then I lost my mom to a suicide, and that just drove me deeper into my addiction. November 7th of 2015, 40 FBI agents raided my house, and I was federally indicted on guns and drug charges. So here I am on a fresh federal indictment, and I'm at my wit's end, and I couldn't keep it together any longer. I started weeping uncontrollably, and I hit my knees and I said, God, I don't know if you're really there. I don't know for sure. When I hit my knees and I cried out to God, He showed up. I had this overwhelming sense of comfort. Like Pastor John, my prison became my palace. About 5 days after I was in solitary confinement, trustee knocks on my door. He said, "Hey, Jake sent you this book." And he had sent me My Prison Became a Palace by Pastor John. And I'm reading Pastor John's testimony, and I'm like, this guy's a pastor of a church. You know what I mean? His story's worse than mine, And so I said, and it gave me this hope that, man, so there's a church that I know that I'll be able to serve at. So I read Pastor John's book two times all the way through, and then kept it with me. And I would always go back to it and read certain things, like for it to give me hope, like when I was going through difficulties while I was in prison. When I got out, it was July 17th of 2018. I got out on a Tuesday. That Sunday, I was here at church, and I made sure to go up to Pastor John. He was sitting on the front pew, and I said, "My name is Jason Sheffield, and I want to serve here at the church." And he put me to work, and I interned here at the church. I love this church family, and it's like I told him from the get-go, I'm here to stay.